Okay, so it has been reported that the Russo brothers, not only are they going to be working on Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, but after Secret Wars is over and we go into phase 7, the Russo brothers are going to be overseeing the next phase of the MCU, meaning that they're going to take charge of the Mutant Saga. Not in a way where they're going to be like literally directing every movie, but they're going to be overseeing that whole new saga, the Mutant Saga, because they want to make sure that everything is cohesive, that everything does align, that whatever mistakes the MCU did during the Multiverse Saga, they don't want to repeat that exact same thing and carry that over into the Mutant Saga, because that is going to be a very important part in the MCU's future. We're talking about the X-Men here. We're talking about incorporating Cyclops movies, Wolverine movies, Storm movies, or whatever, X-Men movies, Magneto movies, whatever they do have in store, whether it's even a Nightcrawler show in Disney Plus. The Russo brothers and Kevin Feige want to make sure that everything is cohesive and nothing feels too like separated from one another, where there is a lot of disconnected tissues. They want to make sure that everything is connected, and they start very well after Secret Wars, and that is very big news for us MCU fans, because we want the MCU to prosper. We want the MCU to do well. We want to follow a connective, cohesive storyline. And we could not really experience that ever since Endgame. Yes, we have had good projects. We have had, I would say, No Way Home, No Way Home. We have Deadpool and Wolverine. We have just some other movies that were really good. I would even say the Multiverse of Madness. I actually do like that movie. It has grown on me. I would even say that Wakanda Forever was also a movie that I really did like. Thor Love and Thunder was okay, it was decent, but like all in all, when you look at the Multiverse Saga and you compare it to the Infinity Saga was much more cohesive, way better quality. And I think that part of the reason why the Infinity Saga was so good, and this is no coincidence, it is mainly because the Russo brothers directed 4 movies within that saga, and it really did help on us building towards that finale in Endgame. When you look at how many movies the Russo brothers have directed during the Multiverse Saga, it has been literally nothing, not a single movie. And I think that the MCU have paid the price for that. Now we're going to be getting some movies that will be directed by the Russo brothers, which is going to be Doomsday and Secret Wars, but we want to see other movies outside of the Avengers that could be directed or maybe just be looked at by the Russo brothers. That has nothing to do with the Avengers. And I think that is the direction that Kevin Feige is going to be taking. And you know what's crazy? A lot of this does sound sounds very familiar, right? And I think that it has a lot to do with how the DCU is moving forward as well. If you really think about it, James Gunn and the Russo brothers have one thing in common. They are overseeing, right, their cinematic universes. Or at the very least, we can say that the Russo brothers might oversee the MCU, because all of this is just speculation, but there has been a lot of reports that the Russo brothers will have a bigger say and oversee like the whole saga. James Gunn is literally doing the exact same thing. Marvel is looking at the DCU and they're like, oh my god, what they're doing is a pretty good plan. Like, I think that we should do that too. Now, here's the thing. Kevin Feige is that guy for the MCU, just like how James Gunn is for the DCU. However, I think that with the MCU, because there has been so many projects, so many things that they have to take care of, and so many movies that have already been pushed and greenlighted, I feel like Kevin Feige has been spread too thin. And I think that Kevin Feige does need more creative power next to him. He needs more ideas next to him. He needs people talking to him that makes a lot of sense, like ideas that do make sense. And I think that when the Russo brothers do speak to Kevin Feige, it makes a lot of sense. They see the MCU in the exact same way. And I think that that's really going to help Kevin Feige, because Kevin Feige was being stretched too thin. There was too many projects, and sometimes Kevin Feige had to take his eyes off a specific project, and only for that project to underdeliver, right? We know that when Kevin Feige has 100% focus on a project, that project is going to do good. And I think that the Russo brothers have the exact same effect. If they can just come in the next saga, which is the Mutant Saga, and look at what needs to be looked at, what needs to be polished, what needs to be refined, what things to add that can eventually lead towards a different project, and have those connective tissues, everything is going to be much more cohesive. It's one of the biggest jobs that James Gunn has today with the DCU. Fortunately for him, the DCU is not as big as the MCU. The DCU is taking it step by step. They're not out there creating like 5-6 projects per freaking year. James Gunn is taking it step by step. He has been directing all of the movies so far, and he will be overseeing other projects like the Lanterns, Supergirl, etc., making sure that everything is going well. And so I expect the exact same type of thing to happen with the Russo brothers in the MCU. And like I said, that is exciting because I look at the Multiverse Saga and I'm like, dude, like this saga went through so many things ever since Endgame. Like, for example, the pandemic disruption is the fact that when the pandemic hit and the writer strike did hit, like they had to stop so many things. And then when they finally had to greenlight and go again, they were rushing those projects out like nothing because they're like, oh my God, we are like so late in our schedule. We just got to push these projects out because we have other projects that we have to complete within the next 3 or 4 years. And then came the Kang problem as well. Like, I understand that Jonathan Majors went through these allegations and stuff like that. I personally am not going to be that guy and say that, yeah, Jonathan Majors, like he messed up and it's his problem and whatever. I'm not even going to talk about that. You guys can believe whatever you guys want to believe. At the end of the day, what we have right now, it is a Kang problem. And the MCU did have a buildup for Kang. And they had a big story for Kang between the years of 2021 all the way until 2024, only for it to be cut off. And then the MCU, Kevin Feige, they said, you know what, scrap all these past 3 years of buildup. We're just going to let it go and we're just going to focus on Doctor Doom, right? And that is one of the things that really did harm us MCU fans because we were like, okay, Loki season 1, I see what's going on. Okay, Loki season 2, I see what's going on. Oh, okay, Incursions, I see how that's going to be connected to Kang. Okay, so we have Quantumania. Okay, that's Kang the Conqueror. Okay, so I see what's going on here. But all of a sudden, boom, slap in the face, boom, Doctor Doom, and we're like, what's going on? Like, what this buildup does not even exist anymore. It's one of the problems that the Russo brothers also have to fix as well. Like, all of these problems that we have been seeing in the Multiverse Saga has to be assessed by the Russo brothers in 2 films, which is Doomsday and Secret Wars. If they do well in these 2 movies, everything will be forgiven, right? If they can connect everything from the past 5 years since Endgame, everything will be forgiven. We clearly will see the Russo brothers as like almost gods in the MCU, and they'll know what they'll be doing in the long run, which is to oversee the rest of the Mutant Saga. Because the fact that they could come in here, fix everything in Doomsday and Secret Wars, after all the mistakes that we have done between 2020 through 2024, that is going to be like godlike in the MCU because there has been problems. And don't take it from me. Don't take it from me, right? Like we have, and I'm gonna be explaining why, right? We have put out too much content. A lot of the content ended up being mid, like Secret Invasion and some other projects. I like Ms. Marvel. A lot of you guys did not like Ms. Marvel, but it has been a mixed bag. But a lot of pushed content, a lot of no cohesion at all, and that led towards the Russo brothers saying one thing, right? Like, don't take it from me. The Russo brothers, they said one thing, and this was their quote. This is what they said: the MCU has gotten quite large, that's for sure. I mean, frankly, we struggle with the same issue, but part of the reason Joe and I decided to go back is exactly what you're talking about. There needs to be more of a central narrative. And that kind of like explains why I even made this video and why I'm like speaking in the way that I am, because I do agree with the Russo brothers. There needs to be more of a central narrative. All of this is not just my personal opinion. This is literally what the Russo brothers are thinking as well. And so I expect for Doomsday and Secret Wars to look at all those problems from the past 5 years and tie it down much tighter. We can finally see this brand new beginning, because what the Russo brothers also stated was Doomsday and Secret Wars is going to set us up for a brand new beginning. It's not going to be the end of the Multiverse Saga. It's going to be a brand new beginning, a restart, a soft reboot. So I'm excited to see what the Russo brothers are going to be doing, assuming that they take on that role to oversee the Mutant Saga, because the Mutant Saga is something that I hold special to myself. Like, I want that to be really good. Yes, that Mutant Saga is going to be primarily focused on the X-Men. We will still be seeing some Avenger projects, maybe some other characters that are Avengers related type of projects, like maybe another Captain America film, Doctor Strange film. We're still going to see that, but I would say about 60 to 65% of the content that the MCU will be releasing after Secret Wars will be about the X-Men. We'll also be getting some Fantastic Four films as well, because I'm going to assume that after Secret Wars, we'll have one universe, just one. There's not going to be like 40,000 billion different universes. It's only going to be one universe, one cohesive story. So keep in mind that one of the long-term payoffs that Marvel wants to do in the Mutant Saga is going to be a Avengers versus X-Men film. And that is something that the Russo brothers are going to want to build up to. And they're actually going to give us like a mini version of that in Doomsday or Secret Wars, because there is going to be incursions. Apparently, in our universe, right, where we have the Avengers, they're going to be facing off against the X-Men universe from the Fox universe. So we'll have like a little mini battle there, but in the long run, the long-term payoff and what we are going to be getting in the Mutant Saga is going to be an official Avengers versus X-Men film. So it should be very exciting. The Mutant Saga sounds like something that is going to be extremely, extremely, I would just say, interesting. It's going to be starting off with Black Panther 3, most likely. It is a movie that Ryan Coogler has also claimed that, he is starting to work on Black Panther 3. He's writing the story. It is going to be the first movie after Secret Wars. It is also going to be a movie that is going to be introducing a brand new T'Challa, maybe. And this is where I think that the Russo brothers can come in and say, like, we have to like plug in these things. Like maybe we could see a Storm reference, Storm from the X-Men. That is how you start to begin, right, building that cohesive story. We could see things like that. The second movie that's going to be coming out after Black Panther 3 and after Secret Wars will be an X-Men movie, the first X-Men movie in the MCU, which most likely will come out in May 5th, 2028. That is going to be directed by Jake Schreier. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. He is the exact same director that made Thunderbolts. And if you guys have seen Thunderbolts, even though it was not the most popular movie, I think that what he really did well there was building the relationship and the team dynamics between the different Thunderbolts characters. It was amazing. I liked it. It was very, I would just say, emotional. And if he can bring that exact same type of chemistry into the X-Men, an X-Men movie, with the characters that we know, like the Wolverine, Cyclops, Magneto, whatever, we could be in for a really good movie. And that's going to be one hell of a year. A Black Panther 3 and an X-Men film after Secret Wars, we're going to be eating. We are definitely going to be eating. And so I'm happy to see that. I think that this should happen. The Russo brothers, they have had a lot of credentials happen over the past few years. They have shown that they can make great films like Civil War, like The Winter Soldier, like Infinity War, like Endgame. They're going to do Doomsday and Secret Wars, and I expect that to do very well. And I think that that is enough evidence that, yes, the Russo brothers should oversee the Mutant Saga. They should work with Kevin Feige and allow Kevin Feige to breathe, to know that the Mutant Saga is going to be in good hands, and they can go on and work on maybe a Cyclops film while the Russo brothers oversee, I don't know, like a Wolverine film or like a Magneto film, Brothers of Mutants type of film, right? So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.